Hello teachers! In this station, we're going to be working on a few collaborative learning tools, including Edmodo, Google Docs, SyncIn, Wikispaces, and of course, Digo. So let's go ahead and get started. Now the first portion, or the first link we're going to look at is Edmodo. Now Edmodo, like I said, allows us to work collaboratively, or allows our students rather, to work collaboratively with each other. It also gives them the opportunity to talk to each other about more than just math. When I first started using Edmodo, it was originally just to be about math and getting help on math and being able to post a question for a student to post a question and have their peers answer it for them. Rather than me sitting at home answering all of these math questions, it created a forum for them to be able to discuss this where it wasn't forced, where I didn't say these are the things that you're going to discuss, but rather if you need help, you can post. And what ended up happening is that they went on and they helped each other. Then it branched off into something I couldn't have imagined. They started talking about school on this way more often than I expected. Asking about math and history projects. When is the science project due? What should we be studying for? And and sometimes they even include these silly little pictures. But because I don't really regulate what they're posting, obviously as long as it's appropriate, there is a lot more buy-in on their part. Like I called it earlier, it's a safe social learning site, which means that everything that is posted has to go through you, where you can either decide that you want to approve each message or allow it to go through and be notified so you can double check to make sure it is okay. So, thought this was an interesting one from a student. I've always wondered, why do we get these huge expensive textbooks that cost about $50 each if we only use them for a single paragraph on one page? Just a little food for thought. Next thing we're going to look at is Google Docs. Now Google Docs is nice because you can, as the teacher, post documents up online so that you're, one, not wasting so much paper, two, you're giving students the option to work from home if they're absent and still be able to get the assignment. It also lets your students be able to access it and work with each other, whether it be online or with family from a long distance. The next one is called sync.in, which I know our history department uses a lot. Now what it allows them to do is to put up a document up here and they're able to work through it. They can't actually delete each other's work, they can only create strike-throughs. This way you know who's doing what. So if a student makes a change, you're notified, you're allowed to figure out who did it. On the right hand side, they're able to chat with one another, very similar to a Google Doc. However, if you're elementary, access to Google Docs are not as easy to get to because they require email. Sync.in allows you to do this collaborative work without having them sign in. You give them a link and they can work from here. So if I wanted to, I can start making my own changes saying, this is a pretty awesome tool. Notice how it's giving me the color green. I can change my color as long as no one else is using it. I can enter my name on the upper right hand corner, and I can chat with my peers as we go through the collaborative process without damaging our document on the left. Next, we're going to mention Wikispaces one more time. This is an easy collaborative tool for your students because they can go in, click the edit button, make changes, and once they're done, they can click save. Yes, this does leave the option for students to come in and delete. However, all of these things are tracked, so you know who made an addition or subtraction to each page. In addition, you can go back or revert to a previous version without losing any of the data you had previously. Last but most certainly not least is something called Digo. Digo is another social networking site. However, this is one that I feel would be extremely handy, especially for all teachers. Now, what Dico is it's a social bookmarking site, which means that because I've been using this for quite a bit of time already, I've already developed a bunch of bookmarks or sites that I've used and that are very helpful to me. For example, as a math teacher, I can type in the following tags: math, resource, worksheet, and once I type that in, it pulls up, it should have pulled up any of my, it should pull up any of my resources, including ones that make worksheets. For example, A plus, click math skill test. All of these are websites that will make worksheets for me based on problems that I decide. So it's taking a lot of the work away from me so that I can spend it working with my students or coming up with more project-based learning assignments. Now, what's nice about this is I can search for friends of mine. For example, you might know Miss Lee Morell, who works at the EdTech office. So what I can do is I can search her name, and this is an all-in-one search bar in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to look for users matching that last name, and I should find her, with exception of I spelled her name wrong. Sorry about that. And here she is. So once I click on her link, I can see all of the bookmarks that she's made public, and then I can follow her on the upper right-hand corner. What that means is once I follow her, it's almost like I'm inheriting her bookmarks. I can go in here and look at her recent tags. For example, if I want to learn about iPads, I can click on her iPad tab or tag, and it'll show me all of the recent posts that she's made with respect to iPads. That's all for now. See you guys next time.